I'm very well aware of that. Now, one other thing, well, there's lots of other things, but I'm trying to get through them.
Well, yeah, because I would like to watch a little bit of TV with my roommates.
Yeah, all right. Last time I remember, Vice President
I'm Ozma in the Dark. I'm here with Sophia, and we're here to talk about the debates, or as I would call it, one person answering questions and another person evading for 99% of the stream, except on one topic, which he decided to hammer on.
Right. Well, yes, we're here to discuss the vice presidential debate, which has just happened.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, yet again, as with last week's presidential debate, the moderation sucked.
Yeah.
Mike Pence was taking a piss. He was constantly going over his allotted time. Yeah. And every time, basically, the moderator needed to sit there and say, "Mr. Vice President, shut the fuck up."
Well, they honestly, for both those candidates, they need to just have an easy-to-reach switch to just shut off the goddamn mics.
The other thing is, I noticed that Mike Pence was at the start, he looked uncomfortable. I mean, what? I have to debate a woman? I thought we'd already brought a law in, but they're not allowed to leave home. He probably thinks he lives in Gilead, doesn't he? We know he's a misogynistic, homophobic, fundamentalist Christian piece of shit. Which reminds me, he brought up I knew. If you look at my Twitter feed, I tweeted this several hours before the debate. I knew that abortion would come up. I knew abortion would come up, and sure it did. I am so fucking sick and tired of men telling women what they can do with their own fucking body.
Yeah.
If Mike Pence is so concerned with the sanctity of life, if fundamentalist Christians are so concerned with the sanctity of life, but then adopt an unwanted child, a child which a mother can't afford to bring up. Adopt it. I'm sure he can afford to.
Yeah, but that sounds like work and empathy, and I realize they say that sanctity of life is important, but more often than not, the important thing is for women to be the person for stuff to happen to, and men to be the people who do stuff. And abortion kind of goes against that view of reality.
Kamala Harris's best segment was on Law and Order, and she basically, brought up Charlottesville, and of course, the tiki, the Nazis walking through Charlottesville with the tiki torches, going, "The Jews will not replace us," and when basically violence erupted, Trump saying they're good people on both sides. And the first thing Trump did when he came into office was basically impose a Muslim travel ban and whatever the fuck else.
Well, the millions of anti-trans stuff. He's in a lot of bad stuff.
Because she didn't say it outright, but it was the closest I've seen a Democrat politician, unless there is a Democrat politician who has dared to call him a fascist, and I don't know about it, but it was the closest I've come to see a Democrat politician essentially call him a fascist without actually calling him a fascist.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I mean, the thing is, so many people see the signs and are just like, well, Trump has done everything. And of course, the last question, speaking of fascism, the last question was disappointing in terms of answers. The second to last question, disappointing in terms of answers of what they would do if Trump says that he wouldn't leave office.
Mike Pence saying, Donald Trump did last week condemn neo-Nazis. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
That was a lie. Mike Pence, you think we're deaf? You think we're stupid? I heard what Trump said. You know, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, didn't he?
Yeah, the whole thing is he was asked if he would condemn white supremacists, and then he waffled away from that question when it came to the Biden debate. No, yeah. Trump, if not regularly refuses to condemn, at the very least, specific fascist specific white nationalist organizations. Like, people can just sort of say, oh, I have a problem with racism or whatever. White nationalists can say that they have a problem with racism, and then that they're not really racist. But like, if you were to ask Trump to condemn the Proud Boys or like various neo-Nazi groups, that's when he'll definitely waffle, because he doesn't want to explicitly.
And he'll try and deflect by saying, "What about Antifa?"
It's not an organization.
Well, we both know that.
I know, we both know that, and that's definitely the sort of thing that was said.
I mean, the thing is, for those who don't know, who might be watching, Antifa is just short for anti-fascist. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The earliest that I remember is the ones where the original anti-fascist organization fighting against Hitler.
So essentially, Donald Trump is condemning anti-fascism. So what does that make him?
Yeah, no, obviously, I see what you're saying there, but yeah.
I actually think the moderator should have gone hard on Pence about COVID-19 because he was supposedly in charge of the federal government's response to COVID-19. I remember Trump wanting him to do something like that. Sorry, how does Pence sleep at night? You know, with 200,000 people, over 200,000 people having died of COVID-19, many of whom possibly could have survived if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, he doesn't know his arse from his elbow.
Well, I think that would require empathy, and I'm not sure Mike Pence has that. Oh, yeah. He looks like a villain from a movie. He's so cold and detached and smug and full of shit. It's ridiculous how much he naturally looks like a movie villain.
Yeah, but the point is he you know, Trump obviously is responsible as well, but he was meant to be in charge of the response to COVID-19, and he's completely fucked it up. You know, he needs to take responsibility, obviously.
Well, but I mean, he prioritizes looking powerful over the lives of people, which actually was something that Kamala brought up.
Now, the other thing is the Green New Deal. I don't know why he just didn't fucking say it. He's this climate change denier. That was obvious to me. He didn't say it. You know why he doesn't say it. You know why he won't say that, you know, he thinks climate change.
He said, well, no, he did say climate change was bullshit or whatever, as if it has some mysterious cause. And then he deflects by saying he listens to scientists. Well, 99% of scientists are going to say that climate change is caused by humanity.
Well, he said, yeah, exactly. You know, the fact is he kept going about, you know, he said, you know, there's too many climate alarmists. Oh, you mean the majority of scientists then? I mean, the thing is, Kamala Harris picked up and said, look, the Trump administration's anti-science. Well, she's damn fucking right. We know this from COVID, and we know that there are also the response to climate change. I mean, the other thing I picked up on is essentially he was saying, you know, fuck destroying the planet. You know, if it means putting your taxes up to save the planet. This is a guy who is so short-termist.
But I mean, also, once again, Kamala Harris actually made a good point about that, which is Kamala Harris said that Biden and her basically saw America in terms of the well-being of the average citizen, and Trump's view of economics was the well-being of the wealthiest, essentially, like the general stock exchange type bullshit. Because the stocks can go up, but there are various reasons why the stock goes up when the economy is about to crash.
Well, the
hard car.
Well, Trump yesterday said that he was stopping COVID relief.
Yeah,
it was his usual policy via Twitter bullshit. And what happened? the stock market started plunging downwards.
Yeah.
And now he's had to reverse some of that.
Yeah, and it comes with it in terms of priorities. Now, that being said, because I would like to talk just a tad about, well, I knew Mike Pence wasn't going to answer the question in terms of what he would, what the person would do if Trump refused to leave office and was legally voted out. And but it was sad that Kamala Harris didn't answer it either.
Well, yeah, one of the policies that I definitely approve of, but
medical marijuana.
Well, they said she actually said decriminalizing marijuana.
Well, yeah, she said. Sorry, I should have been clear. She said she'd decriminalize and waive the sentences for people using marijuana.
I was actually really surprised by this, but but Biden is saying he would end private prisons, which is a good thing, by the way, for the reasons I said.
Yeah, I mean, Biden also said he would deal with getting rid of student loan debt.
Yeah. It's obvious that Trump wants a trade war with China. Well, you know what trade wars lead to? Actual fucking wars sometimes. And it's the other advice. I mean, look, I kind of knew when COVID sort of started hitting Western shores that when all this bullshit has died down, China is going to get the brunt of shit. Racist attacks towards the Chinese in this country have certainly gone up because, hey, bigots need to hate, and, well, hating Muslims and immigrants from wherever isn't enough. They've now got to also hate the Chinese because they're the ones responsible for COVID-19. Look, no one knows who's fucking, responsible for COVID-19.
Well, it's not it's not the sort of thing that you can normally make a blame for because there's no intent behind it. So making a blame towards a specific individual is absurd unless you go into conspiracy theory that the Chinese government or the Israeli government or whoever the sort of person you wish to hate, the conspiracy theory that they would go and create a dangerous thing that would potentially wipe themselves off the face of the earth because viruses mutate.
Well, Alex Jones was reporting that COVID-19 was created in some Chinese military laboratory. And there was a leak. Well, that's the plot to the BBC TV series Survivors. He ain't original, is he? It's not the first time he sort of borrowed a plot from some film or TV series. And we all know Alex Jones is full of shit.
Yeah.
But as for China. It's if America tries to face down China in any ways, and I know it wouldn't go well for America because, and I'll say this, China actually owns quite a lot of America's debt. And all they have to do is sell that debt on the open market and it would bankrupt the United States. Seriously, it would. That's how it would work. You remember? Let me explain. The original Gulf War, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, the reason Iraq did that was because Kuwait had owned a load of debt bonds from Iraq. A lot of basically when governments need to raise money, they'll sell bonds on the open market, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now Kuwait owned a lot of Iraq's debt, right? And basically what happened was they threatened to sell it, which would have bankrupted Iraq, right? And that's why Saddam Hussein essentially invaded Kuwait.
And that's why that wouldn't actually I mean, if China were to try to bankrupt America, and if America was trying to go to war kind of mitigates some of the financial stuff in the sense that the focus is on war and stealing resources.
Now, one other issue, because someone mentioned it to me on Twitter, Israel. Well, back to Israel. That would the Biden administration be supportive of Israel? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that would change. The only difference would be that I'm sure that Biden might want to try to hold the Netanyahu government in check for some of the outrages it orchestrates against the Palestinian people. I know that Obama tried. There's got to be a better effort, to be honest. I mean, there hasn't been a serious effort for peace between Israel and the Palestinians since the Clinton administration.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, let me be very clear again. I do support, there being the state of Israel. I do support a Jewish homeland. I do support the need for a refuge of last resort for every Jew, because we have been a persecuted bunch throughout history. And though you don't have anyone herding us into death camps and sending us to the gas chambers right at the moment, there is still a lot of anti-Semitism around, which could, spark off another fucking pogrom and Holocaust.
Give it another 4 years.
I'm the age, yeah. So we got Biden 78, Trump 74, right?
Uh-huh.
Trump's not in the best of health. Well, and I'm not talking about him having COVID, if he has COVID. The thing is, I kind of feel that if Biden does win, and I think he will win, then I think he'll be a one-term president. I think Kamala Harris, this is why I'm saying that tonight's debate was more relevant. I think Kamala Harris, within 3 years before the next election, will become president. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that is, I can't imagine Biden being a 2-term president. And that is definitely a possibility, especially depending on the public's support and or agreement with Kamala Harris, which might increase as she's vice president, depending on what policies she fights for most strongly.
Now, talking about policies, one thing which didn't come up: LGBTQ rights. I really wish either the moderator had asked the question on it, or that Kamala Harris herself should have brought it up, because it would have shown Mike Pence up to be the homophobic piece of shit he is. Right?
Well, and I mean, he already, when he was talking about how much the Republicans help black people, some of the ways he framed that were the classic more crime, all that sort of stuff. And like, it's clear that they're racist.
Oh, well,
that Mike Pence is racist.
That's called, my darling, that's called dog whistling.
Yeah.
Anyways, one final thing, which it might seem irrelevant, but I just thought we'd do a bonus thing, because this is something which has happened here. So, guy called Lawrence Fox, who...
That name's so familiar.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's a son. I think he's the son of Edward Fox, or the other one. There was two brothers who were actors. One of them was that's the film about the assassination of the French president. Very
Whatever.
good film. Anyways, and the other one was in the film Performance with Mick Jagger, which is a very good film. I suggest people to see. Anyways, he's the son of one of those two, and he's a complete and utter twat. He went on BBC Question Time earlier in the year and said there was no racism in the UK, and yet last week said that he would be boycotting Sainsbury's because they support Black History Month. You see, these far-right, alt-right wankers really don't get irony. Anyways, over the weekend when he was basically tweeting about all the racist shit as to why he wasn't, as to why he's boycotting Sainsbury's, a couple of LGBTQ people called him out for being a racist twat. Mm-hmm. One of them's the co-chair of Stonewall, and he tweeted back at them saying they were paedophiles.
Oh,
he's now getting sued.
Yes.
By two of these people.
Okay, that's why it sounded familiar. Yeah. I may have heard about that.
He's just got £5 million donation to set up his own political party because the far right parties like UKIP and the Brexit Party aren't far enough far right for him.
Huh.
Well, he needs to get every penny he can scrounge because he's going to lose these cases. It's simple as that. It's homophobic defamation.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's where you have to hit these people. You have to hit them in the pocket. It's the same with Alex Jones. And, obviously you know about the defamation case against him for all the shit he said about Sandy Hook massacre being faked.
Yeah.
This is where you hurt them. This is where you get them. You don't ban them from Twitter. No, fuck it. Give them enough rope. Because the more the shit they say, the more they're likely to get sued. That I kind of think that he's been saying a lot of this shit because basically his career as a performer has been tanking, and he wants publicity essentially, and this is the way to get it, isn't it?
I mean that I think that's obviously a factor, but with a lot of these things, I believe that people genuinely fall down those sorts of rabbit holes, especially if they have a reason for themselves to feel inferior or lacking in community, and they just makes it easier for them to fall deeper into that sort of shit.
Anyways, I think that'll be enough for now.
Yeah, so in general, always check out Sophia, and definitely always check out my channel. You can check out my blog, lgbtqrants.com. Yes, check out her blog, LGBTQ Rants. Check out me, comment and subscribe and all that jazz. And if you really want to, you can follow me for Twitch stuff. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.